Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, they probably.
Welcome everyone.
Because what is Japan gonna invade or something? No.
No.
That's how they should start doing. Be like, fuck it, we're doing a Kingdom Hearts attraction in California. Fuck you, bet you can't come and take it from us.
We've licensed it to Tokyo Disney Seas company that licensed Disney from Disney. Excuse me. That works. It's weird that there's companies that license Disney properties for other theme parks. Hello, everyone. It's the Sonic Movie Show, episode 191. My name is Ethan. Devin's here as well. We're talking stuff. How's it going, Devin?
Do not look away. You witness a king's revival in the birth of his new world.
This almost at the end is correct. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's trailer.
Nope, that's Sonic.
That game.
Sorry.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Really? Can I just say that Tears of the Kingdom has disappointed me? It's just the same game from last time, but with more shit in it. And it's like, well, I don't know. It's not what I wanted. Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Superstars are new Sonic video games that are what I wanted. And so that's good for us. Hello, everyone.
It's already your
Welcome
game
back.
of the year. I've heard you say that as well.
It's
Superstars game of the year.
Yeah, well, I haven't finished neither of you, so it's tough to say. But I also never finished Final Fantasy 16. Gotta go back. I already stopped playing Spider-Man 2. Gotta go back. There's a few. Resident Evil 4. Never finished it. Gotta go back. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Never finished it. Gotta go back. And then I'm downloading new games. So I just
too many. I go back to this. There's too many. We need to stop. Like a 5-year pause. 5-year pause. No new video games. You're not allowed. None. Zero.
We were gonna save
until
this
everyone
the
can
episode.
catch up, and then we can start again.
Yeah. So here's the thing, folks. We were gonna save this at the end of the episode, but it's a good time as any to say is pausing is a vital thing. Sometimes you need to take breaks. We're canceling this show forever. So this is the very last episode. Ignore the fact that there will be another one next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, until we're done, which was in a few years from now. But, this is the last episode. No, we're not canceling it. Because today is a very jam-packed day full of news, Devin, isn't it?
And nudes.
Before we begin all of our news, I have something cool to show the class. I have something here to show everyone here. This is a very special thing. My grandma made me a Green Hill Zone blanket.
Shout out to Ethan's grandma.
I don't know if this shows up. I'll throw a picture over this too. Ethan in
the
editing future.
I see it. I see it. So that's what matters.
Dude. Oh man, the green screen is removing the green, and now we're seeing the background. So
yeah, you're gonna have to throw a photo up in the video. So
look at this giant sunflower. She's like, I could get.
I was gonna say,
if you want.
You sent me a
said,
picture.
No.
You sent me a picture of it, and I did not notice the sunflower. That's 3D, folks. It's a 3D sunflower.
On. Well, it's a 3D blanket.
It's a 3D blanket.
Yeah, and it's like she used.
I like it. I like it.
She used you can tell it's all sparkly, the blue. So you know what? It's at nighttime. That's my canon for that. So thank you.
So is it warm? Is it warm? Would you survive in negative 10 degrees outside?
A little too small. It is warm, but here's the thing. I stroll up to this place they call the grandma's house, and she's like, I made a bunch of blankets. I got back into crocheting. Do you want some? And I said, yeah. So I walked away with 4 blankets, and then also asked her to make the Sonic one. Because a decade ago, I was really into the YouTube channel College Humor. I don't know if you remember this. Very funny.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, College Humor, though.
Yes, exactly. And my favorite skit on College Humor was an animated video. I don't remember what it was called, but essentially it was the Pac-Man ghosts talk about TV. And the whole shtick is they're talking like normal people at a water cooler, The Wire was so good. And this was when Breaking Bad was kind of just getting into its heyday or whatever.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's an asshole. And it ends with them all watching the sitcom, or not sitcom, the soap opera Private Practice on a couch. And I took a screenshot of that and sent it to my grandma, and she made that into a blanket. So this was a decade ago. I have the Pac-Man ghosts watching TV. 3 of them are sad, and 1 of them's happy. Yeah, so she make.
That's
I'm
awesome.
making. I have gaming blankets. But this one's a little bit too small to sleep
gamer
with,
blankets.
and I don't want to put this on like a couch for the cat to lay on and get her hair in there, because it's really hard to get cat hair out of a crocheted blanket. You can't wash it away. It's just in there.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of GG.
I might
if
try
that
to
happens,
display it somewhere in the background, maybe. But
have it
not
hanging.
today. So, but yeah, today, Devin.
No, I like it.
Thank you. I had my grandma make it. That's the story I just told. I almost said I made it myself, and that would have been a lie. That's not what I wanted to do. I have too many hotkeys here. Hey, Devin, guess what? The strikes are over.
What? It's over. Well, one of the big ones is there is new ones happening, but yes, there's the big one that we've been talking about for all summer. Sag-aftra, the actors union, finally got it done, folks. This is big news. I mean, the strike went on since June. The WGA one did end while we were kind of on our hiatus, and that was from May to September. Technically, October is when because the union still has to vote to say yes, we accept it. And WGA did do that, and officially in the early October. So that one was on for a very long time. I remember when we first were covering it, there was rumors that would take up to October for both of them. So they did hit that mark, and they got huge wins with compensation, also with compensation specifically with streaming services, because beforehand they were getting jack shit or nothing at all. Especially if you were just you weren't a mainstream actor like Ryan Reynolds or something like that. And then another big thing is there's protections against AI, which I think is one thing that I am passionate about, and glad to hear that they have some safeguards against AI, because a lot of times in a lot of like background actors and whatnot, they in their contracts in the fine print or whatever, basically these production companies own the rights to their image, and what they can do is just throw them into any film that they're making without compensating them for
often
it.
to bad results, which is funny.
So it's good to see that. I think we'll get more details as time goes on about like what's actually in these individual contracts here, but $1 billion is what SAG-AFTRA has said on Twitter. They said this is a deal of an extraordinary scope that includes above-pattern minimum compensation increases, unprecedented provisions for consent, and compensation that will protect members from the threat of AI. And for the first time establishes a streaming participation bonus. Our pension and health caps have been substantially raised, which is also good. Healthcare is fucking expensive in the United States, so getting any increase in healthcare is a huge win as well. But this goes on. This has been resolved now. I think the next one in terms of the entertainment industry is all the folks unionizing in animation and effects, whatnot. So I'm hoping this momentum carries and then they get a fair deal. Especially now we have the Marvels out, which from the trailers has looked visually awful in my opinion. But this is good news though. Things you'll probably, if anything, I've already seen it. Directors and actors now have talked about their shows that they've been in the last couple months here, and new ones that are on the way. So it's just exciting to see people talk about their work again, and not in a way that is scab behavior. But I also hope we remember all the people who did scab.
Yes.
Megan Fox they told people not to dress up as characters from strike content, and she dressed up as Kill Bill and like publicly did an Instagram post kind of like shitting on the union about it. So she's a scab. I remember. So I'll remember all the people who are scabs.
The Drew Barrymore show, and good on all those writers who actually quit anyway. Said no, you don't get to be like, you don't get a redemption out of this. You're gone. We're leaving. Enjoy starting over. The animation is important too, especially with the AI stuff, because I mean, not that it's under as big of a threat as these people claim AI will help them. But there, I forget who, but it was some major executive was like, AI is going to help revolutionize animation. It took 500 animators 5 years to make his classic Disney movies or like The Lion King or whatever. But like with AI, it can take, less than 10% of that because AI is going to do it all. It's not going to actually do make 90% of The Lion King and then 10% of people fix it up or anything like that. But it is a tool that they're going to try to push and they're going to try to fuck up all this shit with, and you're going to get like so much like reused and rehashed stuff, and it's not going to actually look any good. So I hope the animation ones work out. I think the thing with that is like when we talk about like the WGA, that's all writers in Hollywood. The Sag-aftra is basically all actors in Hollywood and in the video game scene and all that stuff. But there's a lot of different VFX guilds and a lot of different animation ones. So like I can see that being more of a work, like these two strikes were very successful for these unions and for these people. I am nervous that we're not going to see such giant obvious we fucking won folks like success stories with the animation stuff, because there isn't a whole unified thing. It is a bunch of like, it's like there's like several different ones just at Disney, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
mean, I
hope
think
that
the
it
biggest
works
thing
out.
though is, but I think with this though, it shows confidence, because a lot of people, I think even before this, especially in that you've seen on like Twitter and what, once again, we shouldn't take Twitter, I guess, as face value, but still that there's a lot of people who are like strikes, before this kind of big push for strikes, especially in the entertainment field, is that, oh, it's not going to work, the consumers won't buy in and blah, blah, blah. And it's a lie. It's always basically propaganda from the studios and the production companies, and it worked, and they've lost their leverage at this point. So I think that's one big thing with that, is that this, I think, will only inspire more folks to either are already in unions or to unionize and to strike and get things done.
I think you're right.
And in all industries. I mean, it's been a thing. There's already, I forget what union it was, because there was a temporary contract, I think, met with, a certain type of damn, I'm forgetting what it is, but a big, large scale commerce thing in the United States, who said that like this is a temporary agreement until 2028, and they did an announcement saying like by this date in 2028, the goal though is to strike again, and hoping that it's not just them striking, but they want to get basically what sounds like is a mass strike, and that means like the average person striking with them to get just better deals across the board, and or just, we're talking about big changes, folks. So we'll see if these other unions sign on to that. But I'm really mad that I'm not remembering what union it was, but it was a big one.
Really?
It wasn't like AFL-CIO, I don't think, anything like that. But they said that like this is a temporary agreement, but we hope that this date in the future we can organize enough to where we can all do a general strike together.
Oh, okay.
But I'm really mad that I'm not remembering what that is.
Yeah.
But regardless, strikes work, folks.
Yeah.
Organize your workplaces. Even if it's not a union, you are allowed to organize and do wildcat strikes as long as you have the support for it. And don't be afraid to talk on the internet, get support from other unions too. So I'm really happy about this. This is
very pro-union.
Very good news.
I'm in a union myself. I am a part of the Teamsters, and I have seen how that definitely helps protect its people from things. Like I've seen in my own workplace how things can slip through the cracks, and it's like, oh, you weren't getting paid what we told you were getting paid, and then Teamsters come in, and the union comes in and actually is like, okay, here's the back pay that you owe, type of situation. So very much.
I was gonna say like
very pro union.
I'm gonna speak for my brother here. My brother even used a union once to fight against his boss, who was antagonizing everyone in the workplace, and he threatened to go to the union and he stopped doing that shit. So it doesn't have to even be like necessarily always for pay or whatever. It is a tool, it is a device to combat your boss at the end of the day. So whatever capacity that is.
For sure.
But yeah, good fucking shit.
And now that the strike is over, everyone's talking again. We're starting to see, oh, look, there's a Ghostbusters Tropical Freeze movie, and there's this and there's that.
Can I say something about that, by the way? I saw the first Ghostbusters, and it just didn't hit for me, and that's whatever. But do people still... I feel like every time I've seen Ghostbusters, like, no one, like, talks about the other ones, just the first one. But it's like, people treat it as, like, as this big phenomenon, but I don't...
This will happen to us with the things that we enjoy, and it's happened with our parents' generation, where they watch things as literal children, grew to be 45, and those children's properties have to be now aimed at them who are now 45. Star Wars, comic books. Batman should wear a blue cape with a yellow symbol on his chest and wear like bright gray spandex. He's meant for kids. It's cool seeing Matt Reeves as the Batman. It's cool seeing Christopher Nolan's the Batman. But Batman is a kids thing. It's fine. Ghostbusters is a comedy. So when you see these modern Ghostbuster films, this one and then the previous one, trying to be so like serious and like Star Wars of it. Like, I saw someone tweet out on twitter.com that it's like as if in an alternate history there was this irreverence and grandeur made with dozens of sequels to the 80s film Caddyshack. It's a comedy.
Yeah, I think I saw that tweet.
Ghostbusters is a comedy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I watched Ghostbusters, the first one. It's funny. All right? Okay, it's funny. There's some good ejaculation joke in there. All right? Sigourney Weaver's in there at the end. The second movie is when you get like the controlling the Statue of Liberty, and it's a little weird. And it's like, okay, fine, you don't want to watch those. That's fine. But Ghostbusters is a comedy, and I don't understand either.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because every Halloween, everyone, there's always this group of people who dress up as Ghostbusters, and I'm like, is it really that, like, is it that good? Like, I don't know, it's just a different era, I guess. I'm not mad, I'm just like, I'm always just kind of shocked that I'm like, they're making another movie? Like, I didn't hear anyone talk about the other ones, except for the one where it was all women, and it was talked about because it's women.
And guess what? That one was also a comedy, and these people hated that. So, it's got to be super serious, like all of the Star Wars TV
And to
shows.
me, it looks like Stranger Things, but maybe it's because that newer one, not this one, but the other newer one had Stranger Things actors in it, but it had that vibe where it's like, it's us against the world, or we need to save the world.
Retro throwback to that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get, which is fine, but I'm just more confused. I don't know who's it for, but not me, I guess.
Speaking about things that are for, there's a Zelda movie. It's coming out. It is live action. Miyamoto did his random using the Nintendo Twitter account to tweet, "Hello, this is Shigeru Miyamoto. I am making a blah 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 with so and so san and san." But yes, Nintendo announced this during their earnings report. We'll have more about that later. It's a live-action Zelda film. There's a bunch of names attached. None of them are particularly like, oh shit, really? You know what I mean?
Earth-shaking or anything like that.
But again, neither was Mario with Illumination. I remember being like, no, don't go with the cheap ones. Interesting point, though. This is being co-produced and distributed with Sony Pictures. So Zelda's coming to Sony. You can write down that
it's official.
headline.
It's over. It's already over.
Yeah.
He's already bought. Once you let him take an inch, they're gonna take a mile, folks. It's over.
Exactly.
In 5 years, it'll be he's coming to PlayStation All Stars 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a Zelda fan or anything like that. I played maybe an hour of Breath of the Wild on your Switch 7 years ago, whenever that one came out.
Probably less than that.
And then I've played 5 minutes of it on the Switch as part of the free games or whatever of the NES or whatever it was.
Okay.
So like my knowledge of Zelda is very limited, and I don't have a horse in this race, I guess I should say. The only thing I saw that was interesting is the person who's be the director, I don't know where that name went. Where'd it go? Because he's the new director for the new Planet of the Apes movie that's coming out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes Ball. He did the Maze Runner movies. That's kind of his thing, which I think people have said are fine. Like they're not. They're book movies.
I was talking about
so.
Maze Runner earlier today. This is an Orson Scott Card book series. That guy sucks shit. I haven't seen the movies. So.
But I only know about him because he directed the new Planet of the Apes movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I'm hyped about, folks. This is next year where I'm gonna eat with Godzilla vs. Kong 2 and then freaking Planet of the Apes. I'm gonna go crazy. But I saw I looked into his work because there's been some Planet of the Apes fans talking about is it gonna be good? Is it people being nervous because the guy doesn't have Scorsese's career,
right?
But
hey, guess what? He's cheaper than the Scorsese's, and this is a way for him to get these types of risks on both ends, both him and them, and these types of situations is how.
But to be fair, the people
Right.
People need to get opportunities to, it kind of gets annoying when you have the same director doing everything. Even if they are good, sometimes you just need a change of pace. Anyways.
Give me a Zack Snyder Zelda movie.
No. I'm good. I'm good. It'll be about heaven and hell again. With all his movies happen to be about, which is fine.
The Triforce will be upside down because it's evil, because it represents generosity.
And Link will be maybe Jesus. Who knows? But no.
I have some ideas.
But at least with the Planet of the Apes movies, the same writers who've been on the last 3 are working on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So I'm that's fine as long as the writer's in it. That's what I watch them for. I'm hyped. So, but I was surprised to see him attached to this.
That's why you said
I
you
guess
watch those movies
working
with your eyes closed because all you care about is the writing. Gotcha.
Right. Actually, can't see movies. It's a weird disease. No, but. No, yes, I saw him on there, and then I see Derek Connolly, who was kind of getting crapped on because he did
Rise of Skywalker.
Which, to be fair,
Pikachu.
Yeah, and Jurassic World, the first one, which I liked. To me, it's for this kind of movie, do we need someone who's doing an avant-garde, you know what I mean, film?
No.
To me, I'm okay, fine.
Well, Nintendo fans would like it to be. Because here's the thing,
it doesn't need
in my
to be,
heart, the Zelda movie is hand-animated 2D, like an old Disney movie or old Ralph Bakshi movie or whatever. That's what my Zelda movie in my head would be. Now, would it be live action? I would have never have guessed that. That's what's really weird to me. 13 years ago, Wes Ball tweeted that he would like to direct a Zelda movie, and he would want it to be the next big motion captured movie like Avatar was. So here's my thing. I texted this to you. Do I really think that it's going to be like Avatar where there's I understand there's humans in that movie, but there's not humans in this movie unless they're considering Link being human. But let's just say they're not. And every character is motion capped. It's going to be bad. Not necessarily because of that. It's already going to be a bad movie, most likely. But that might make it worse. But I'd rather the bad movie experiment and be extremely whoa, they were I want to be able to watch it in 10 years and be they were doing some cool shit. How we watch. Do
you mean Beowulf? Kind of like Beowulf, how it was shot in all mocap. I haven't seen it either, but at the time people didn't like it. But now a lot of people are hey, that was kind of weird and interesting.
I own Beowulf on. I bought a steelbook of it. Be oh, this is a movie I should watch. I don't know. But as far as story goes, they can really do, it's just like Mario, whatever they want. None of the Zelda games have that big of a story. I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom. None of the Zelda games have that big of a story, and none of them are particularly deep. I would say the Zelda game, there's a lot of easy room. Majora's Mask has a lot of sad and very depressing things in there and themes, but a lot of that is the world and not necessarily the events of the game. It is about the moon crashing into the planet and killing everyone, and you're trying to stop that in a time loop. But Wind Waker for the GameCube 2002, not a lot of people understand that this was a like floating in the background theme because these games don't have a lot of cutscenes because they're just gameplay driven. And that's what they're meant for. Wind Waker had this thing where, Ganondorf, like Link and Zelda are brand new in every single game. And like there's always a Link and a Zelda whenever there needs to be. It doesn't fucking matter. It's literally their
Adam and an Eve,
It's just like, it doesn't matter. It's a legend. Who cares? We just want to make a new. But like Ganondorf is the same in pretty much all of them, and it started with Wind Waker being like directly acknowledging Ocarina of Time took place, and it tells you this right in the beginning. That whole game took place. This 10-year-old boy went to the future, stopped the big bad, sealed him away, went back in time. Big bad breaks out. Link literally doesn't exist in this timeline, so the gods come and they flood the world, and that's why it's all at sea, because everyone lives on the mountains, which are now islands. Ganondorf breaks free, and this game's version of Ganondorf is very stoic. He stares off in the distance. He's not even excited to do anything. He's a guy who's out of time and place. He doesn't want to rule this world. He wants to rule the world he remembers, and that world is gone. And so what he wants to do is use the Triforce, blah, 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 to revert things back to the way they were. That's all he wants. He doesn't even want it. He could take over this world if he wanted. And then your boat in the game talks, and it's the spirit of the King of Hyrule from that time. And it ends with this whole way, we are both men out of time. We don't belong in this world. This world isn't for us, it's for the children. Like, that's the deepest I can get with the Zelda game story. And, like, no one ever says that, so I'm probably reaching. That's just what I see. Point being, they could do whatever the fuck they want with the story and make it.
I was gonna say they're probably just gonna do their own original thing. And it'll be like the Uncharted movie, where they're just gonna pull maybe set pieces from the games or maybe a chunk from this game, and it's probably gonna be something like that. That's how I imagine. The other thing I could see it also being, though, like, well, since it's a movie, maybe not. I was gonna say it could be like The Witcher, like in that terms of like aesthetic.
Sure.
Where it's just going to be him doing like one main quest, and there'll be some side quests, and then there'll be that's how I can see it.
Because but here's the thing, Zelda's also very goofy, but like the adult Nintendo fans that don't want to acknowledge that these are meant for kids.
Let's just get Henry Cavill in this one and make him just be Link, and just make him jacked and huge. Here's my stance. Here's my take, not take. Here's a guarantee straight from me. Link will talk, and will talk a lot in this movie. He will not be a silent character in this movie. What are we, some kind of legends?
Of you? There was a cartoon back in the day where he talked, and the catchphrase, because Zelda was kind of annoying, was him saying, "Excuse me, princess," and everyone makes fun of because that show sucked. It would be hilarious
somehow
if they write that line.
The Emperor has returned.
Hey, he wrote that. He wrote that.
He did wrote that. He wrote that. Bring it back, baby.
He also wrote he lost the Star War, but that was a joke. That wasn't written. That wasn't said out loud. That was written. Yeah. People are like, "Look at this guy's an idiot." Like, that's funny.
That's how scripts are written too. It's notes.
He lost the Star War is hilarious, but
And to be fair, I'm not going to blame him for Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to blame Disney as a whole for dropping just all the marbles, because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with that trilogy. So I'm not going to blame him for just trying his best with what he was probably given and told, hey, you need to like not do The Last Jedi because a bunch of Star Wars nerds got mad. So don't do that. Retcon everything. Yeah. Okay. And they probably gave him shit ton of money, and it's like, yeah, you're probably just gonna do it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
So, and same with the I always defend the Jurassic Park movies, because you don't go into those movies at this point. It's like Fast and Furious. What you're getting at this point. So like anyone who's saying like,
I just don't like what they were giving.
It's like it's Jurassic Park.
But yeah,
it's Jurassic Park,
wrong.
baby.
You're not wrong at all. I agree with you. I just thought
I actually liked
the
last one because there's just cool stunts they started doing with motorcycles and velociraptors. I'm like, fuck yeah, sick.
That's fair.
Cool.
That's fair.
Thank you.
That's fair.
And Detective Pikachu was an A rank for us. So Whatever.
Pikachu
And
was
monster trucks, I can't speak for
Is
monster
Detective
trucks. I've
Pikachu
not
an
seen
S
monster
rank?
trucks.
Dude, I
Did
don't
we put an
remember our own.
S? I know it was at least an A.
movies. Yeah,
At least it was an A. So I'm defending our
S
boy
ranks were
Derek here.
Sonic 2. We had 3 of them. Sonic 2. Oh. They were all movies that were not straight up adaptations of a game. So I wonder if Detective Pikachu is in there. I don't
I'll have to look at the
remember.
list again. I just know Sonic 2's
We're
on
frauds.
We're frauds, fakers.
I
Losers.
will obviously see this movie. Duh.
I mean,
I'm a mark.
well, now at this point, we can't use the excuse now that
yeah.
I wouldn't say excuse, but strikes. Like we were supposed to go see Gran Turismo
and
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Freddy's.
I think we're gonna save Five Nights at Freddy's for our draft next year. I think that
we're
might
gonna
be
save
a fun
Gran
one
Turismo
to
for
throw.
our draft next year. Hey, check
Yeah.
out next episode of the Sonic Movie Show. It might be related. Yeah, I will see this. Obviously you will see this, but like this is a movie I would be interested in seeing. Let me put it that way.
Outside of the show.
Yeah. Other Nintendo properties that could get movies, I think you start to really lower down on an obvious. Animal Crossing would work, just because the pandemic made everyone understand when Animal Crossing is awesome. But like I guess maybe Pikmin's starting to make a rise, but like none of them will be as big as Mario or Zelda. And I think honestly, I hope that they don't Kevin Feige and Disneyify their minds into thinking everything they've ever done is as big as Mario and Zelda.
Yeah.
Specifically Mario. Obviously.
And if they're going to do that, they need to do a universe, and they already know the 2 people to hire for that. I mean, we did a whole episode on it. Like, it's already there.
Remember that episode, folks, where I thought we were making a video game, and Devin was like, no, we're making a movie? Remember that episode? It was like 100 episodes ago.
That's when on TikTok, that's like one of our top clips was
Really?
The whole Leon S. Kennedy Resident Evil 4. It's him and
oh, that's a different right, was it the same episode?
It was him and Sonic go to the island in Resident Evil 4, and then there's a monster.
And the Monster Hunter monster.
No, it's Tom Bukowski and Leon Kennedy,
Yeah.
and then there's the Monster Hunter amazing pitch.
Yeah. Never finished Resident Evil 4 remake. It's not as
You already played it.
Yeah, and it's not as it's not really hitting me like, oh yeah.
It doesn't have Tom. It doesn't have Tom.
It doesn't.
That's why.
Alan Wake 2 though might be interesting. We'll see. Yeah, I obviously had pitched a long time ago a Metroid movie on this show. I will just repeat. You can easily make that into a trilogy. You can easily I know Brie Larson's wanted to play Samus. You're not going to be Samus, Brie Larson. You're going to be the villain. You're going to be in all 3 of the movies. We're going to get
Metroid.
No, Dark Samus, because it's gonna be whatever. I'm not gonna fucking bore you with how that fucking works. No, we're gonna get Gwendolyn Christie as Samus because, quite frankly, she's a tall woman and she is in those types of things. Or we can get what's her name that played Alice in all those Resident Evil movies because likes to do action movies, but not have her husband direct the movie.
Jokovic.
Yeah, Mia Jokovic. I've said that
friend
before.
of the show.
I wish we had celebrity friends. They're like, hey, want to know some behind the scenes? Like, I also hated Monster
Either one
Hunter.
of us has to become a celebrity, or one. I'm just gonna hope that one day we run into like Jack Black or something.
They're
like,
real
hey, come
people just like us, Devin. You know how
So it's
many
possible.
sad, disgusted with this world photos I've seen of Ben Affleck that are new every year? Someone on Twitter
I
called
keep retweeting them. I keep retweeting every single one
Yeah.
I've seen in the last 3 weeks.
Someone called him, and I understand this reference doesn't hit you and me too well because we're a little bit too young for this, but someone called him the Princess Diana of white boys, for white boys. And it's like, yeah,
true.
I just relate to every photo I ever see of him. Especially that
Yeah,
video
he does
that
not
went
look-
around recently of him destroying Bill Maher.
Yeah,
So,
that was amazing.
yeah.
God bless.
Yeah,
God bless him.
'cause he's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. And his
I'll never forget when I first watched Batman vs Superman. That boy in the fucking. I just can't get that image out of my head.
sucks,
It's like
though, 'cause
iconic to me.
he's physically built like how a Bruce Wayne I would want would be. He was just putting a wonderfully bad movie. Let's move on. Speaking about wonderfully bad movies, there was a movie called Mortal Kombat released 2 years
I've
ago.
heard of it.
You and I enjoyed it
already
a
been
lot.
2
That was an
years.
A rank. They're making a
Yeah,
sequel
I
to
need to
that
watch it
now,
again.
and that Minecraft movie is also happening. It's live
Well, I knew the
action,
Mortal.
and both of them are filming next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat 2 has been announced for a while, but
Yeah.
with the strikes, it was kind of up in the air. But then, I think his name's Todd Gardner. Yeah, he put on Twitter like this morning, that this is actually not true. That they've already started filming prior to the strikes. So, I just saw that.
Oh yeah, I
this
see that
morning
here.
or 20
This
hours
is
ago.
not true. We are filming before then. So okay, well, if they early
it's-
2024, earlier than that this is like now. So I guess.
Yeah. But I feel like these kind of movies they start working on almost as soon as it is a box office hit. I'm sure they had something and they'll be like, hey, if this movie does well financially, we
He also
will
denies
push
that
for
he's
it.
the director. I'm sorry. See,
Oh, he's a producer. Okay, so you have a new director. Whatever. I'm hyped for it. I hope it has the same ideas in it. I think they can improve on some other things, but
like maybe
it's a
retcon the
step in
main
the right
dude
direction.
into actually being like Scorpion. Like it's just
Something.
genetically he's now also Scorpion, and not weird.
I was hoping they
Tonka
would put him in the actual newest Mortal Kombat game,
Yeah.
at least to like make him
That
a
is
character of some
weird.
sort.
I understand like
That they didn't.
I understand Mortal Kombat 11 might have been done by then, but like
But like Mortal Kombat 1.
yeah. No, instead they need 3 evil Supermans instead.
Yeah.
So-
I haven't got the game and I guess I call myself a fan, but like I'm just going to wait for the premium edition or whatever that comes out because I feel like this game snuck up on me and I'm like I wasn't ready for a new Mortal Kombat yet, personally.
You know they're selling
fan, I guess.
fatalities in that game's marketplace for like $15.
Yeah, that's bullshit. It's fucking stupid.
Street Fighter did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaboration back around Evo, and it's cool. Like they got one of the voice actors to sing in a cover song for that's cool and all. And you remember you can make your own avatar character for the single player and then just like the hub area. There's costume parts.
Oh,
so
I know.
They're selling. They sold, not selling anymore. I don't think they sold. A costume pack parts to make. Each of the turtles. Each turtle is an individual purchase, and each turtle is $15. So for $60, the cost of the video game itself, you can make 4 Ninja Turtles. So you see people in the lobby use the parts that are already in the game to make like bootleg Ninja Turtles.
I think I saw
and
that.
That's pretty based. So yeah, that's just the thing. You could buy a $70 fighting game like Mortal Kombat 1 and spend $20, $30, $40 buying,
On top
not
of
even
that,
skins,
on just
but
characters.
cutscenes. And the fatalities are cool, but it's a cutscene. It's a cutscene.
Right.
It's a 10-second cutscene.
Yeah. And
That's WB,
like I get
though.
you're
I
trying to
don't
make
think
you're trying to make
I
it
don't know, but
you're trying to make a service kind of game. I get it, but just like, are we gonna get to this nit and gritty? Like at this point, like you already do the skins, and I already think that's kind of sucky. Because I wish you could just grind for a skin that you really like or whatnot. But this is the age old conversation that goes back 5-7 years ago. At this point of Overwatch game, like Overwatch, I like Counter-Strike, but even Counter-Strike has the boxes and the rarity drops, and like there's. Our friend David has a skin that's $60, and I'm like, dude, if I had that, fucking sell it because I don't value that shit that much. Like,
I will when
it's
they're
just
cheap.
like I can.
It's like I could
if
spend
they're
$1
cheap
to get a
enough,
cool
but I'm not.
skin,
I'm
but
good.
like, yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a god enough in this game, anyways. To
I
warrant
watched a video
stunting on people.
I watched a video a couple days ago about Mortal Kombat 10 had a skin for Ermac. That was $10, but this was a Mortal Kombat 10 or X. The proceeds of that went to funding the prize pool for the Mortal Kombat tournament scene, which is cool. And they were shocked at how many that sold. Street Fighter V every year would have 2 skins for 2 characters, plus another mystery skin for a character that was to be decided by the winner of that year's Capcom Pro Tour, which is cool. If they either it was the character that they played as, or they picked a character and say, "Hey, I picked this guy." You could it was like $20 or something to buy those 3 skins. I think it also came with a stage too, which is cool. The stage that they use in grand finals, which is cool. but that proceeds went to funding Capcom Pro Tour prize pools. So like those are cool and acceptable, but then like a $15 Ninja Turtle skin that isn't even for the characters, it's for your avatar, is dumb as shit. $20 Scorpion skin, that's shitty as well. Like that type of shit, I want that out.
Yeah.
So you already have to buy the game. They had a perfect monetization. Every year is a new season, and you can buy new characters. Stages I'm fine paying for as well. Tekken 7 brought back the bowling minigame from Tag Tournament as DLC to buy. Fine. You know what I mean? But like, don't.
I just miss when everything was just in the game and you just either can grind for it or whatever. And it just made it.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of cool to be like, oh, they had this skin because they played enough during this
and fighting games
seasoned
need to
event
have
or
some
whatever.
sort of rewards to give you. So character outfits and that type of stuff are fine, but because now everything could also be purchased, they have to really make that a grind to get. Where it's like, do I care about this? Like at this point, I'll only do it if it's like related to trophies. If I think the platinum's achievable in these types of games, where it's like, nah. Anyway, Minecraft is also like that. By the way, they also sell skins for people that for a first-person video game. Throw that out.
But
there
you
too.
can download a whole bunch online. That's how I downloaded my Among Us one for my playthrough of it. I also had Master Chief at one point as well, that someone made, and you can just go and download if you know how to do it. But it's pretty simple. If I can figure it out, folks, the average gamer definitely can.
Yeah.
All right, so.
But
Minecraft movie. What the hell is this going to look like?
It's live action, so here's my thing. I think it is either going to be like the Tetris movie we didn't see, where
There's
it's
no way
more
it's
of
good.
a
I'm
story
sorry.
about the video game versus the video game as a movie, or it's going to be like something where it's more about like kids that experience Minecraft and the joys of it, because guess what? Some of those kids are now like 19. Like my brother. They're all of that age now, so they now have money, and they can now feel a tinge of nostalgia for a couple bucks.
You know what they might do? They might do a Jumanji thing where they get fucking stuck in Minecraft, so they'll have like it would be a green screen fest of just fuck it, get the rock. I don't care anymore. Put them in again. Do it. Do the same character.
And Danny DeVito instead of the Creeper.
Instead of them going into Jumanji, they go into Minecraft.
Jumanji 3 : Minecraft. Moving on.
Screw it. That actually might be good. I don't know.
We're gonna have to watch.
But
I say we're gonna have to watch. I enjoyed that Mortal Kombat movie. So yeah, I would watch the second one for the show, but we're gonna have to watch the Minecraft movie for the show if it actually finishes. But who knows? I did not think there was a chance in hell that Five Nights at Freddy's was actually going to be a real movie.
I thought that was a joke. I thought that was a joke.
It snuck up and said, yeah, it's coming out. If we ever watch that movie, we will watch that movie at some point. Not saying it's anytime soon. But, when we do watch that movie, I guess there's some facts we can bring up because I don't know anything about the lore. But I heard that the guy basically just took every fan theory and just said yes to them as he was making all those games. So the movie is like the Warcraft movie in that like the main character of the video game isn't in the movie. It's about like his dad. Because I guess there's the Warcraft movie. He has a son at the end, and that baby is like the main orc character from the Warcraft games. And the Five Nights at Freddy Big Bear Man isn't the Big Bear Man. He's like
I only heard that Markiplier was supposed to be like a cameo in it, and he couldn't make it work, and people were upset.
I like to hate on him because it's what he looks like, but he's like the only one of those legacy YouTubers that isn't racist. So
no, yeah, I mean, like I think in 2015 when I was edgier, when I would be like, yeah, he's cringe, but at this point.
He's still
as
cringe,
I've gotten older, I've learned that it's better to be cringe, and not racist than be.
I mean, at some point
PewDiePie.
you got to grow the fuck up because your audience has probably outgrown your antics. But speaking about antics,
whatever.
10 years ago,
he seems cool.
We were different people. Grand Theft Auto 5 was just released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
True.
By the way, speaking of Grand Theft Auto 5, it is the only. It was the 360 game that broke the requirements that. So like the PlayStation 3 had a hard drive, Xbox 360. Most of those consoles have hard drives. The launch models could or could not have a hard drive in them, and so there's like literally like memory sticks for save files. So if you want to publish a game on 360, you couldn't require a hard drive. It had to be able to run off disk. You could make it optional for some folks to make things loading faster. Anyway, GTA 5 was the game that Microsoft had to say, okay, you get an exception because you're Rockstar Games. Grand Theft Auto 6. Apparently it's being announced next month.
I can't wait to get it in another 8 years.
I don't own Grand Theft Auto
on
5.
Epic Games. I have it for free because I think I got it through Epic.
Really?
When they had like a free thing. And I haven't played it. I've only played, I think my brother had it, so maybe I played it with him.
I have
like when I was
played
home from school.
Oh, like,
yeah, but I don't own
and I am gonna play through the story. Is like,
I mean, I guess I do own it, but I haven't touched it.
Drove around the city, and then the cops chased you. Like, the thing everyone thinks that they have fun with Grand Theft Auto, and not like playing through the stories and their good, missions and like fun open world.
Yeah.
Like, I played a bunch of Vice City back in the day. I know you played a lot of GTA 4 back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, the stories are where it's at. Like, just dicking around, you kind of get bored of it. And so maybe that's why I never oh yeah, I gotta get this game, because my experience was just dicking around.
Yeah, I just got it for free, I think, through Epic. But I still never touched it. So that's my goal, is I'll probably get it 8 years after the fact and be like, maybe play it.
Back
but even
when
then,
it's made more money than like half the world. Yeah.
It's going to be, freaking Rockstar is going to be, net worth is going to be more than like 50 countries.
Yeah.
It's going to be able to buy its own military and take over the Game Awards if it doesn't get Game of the Year. Oh,
I just realized
I love
I have
that
Rockstar
fantasy.
blocked because they've been an advertisement on Twitter before for me, and I just block everyone. But
no, yeah, I like the idea of Rockstar getting militant and demanding that they win every game award at the Game Awards. I like that fantasy.
Listen, I can't confirm this. I just heard this from someone that I no longer follow on Twitter because they got really annoying a year after this happened. But 2018 game of the year at the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards went to God of War. Apparently, when that was announced, the Red Dead Redemption team at Rockstar that was there got up and walked
out.
Away.
Right?
I don't know if that happened for a fact, but I believe the person that said it. And like, the fact that in that game, Red Dead Redemption 2, you have to still mash the X button to sprint baffles me. It is 2018 when that game came out. It is not 2001 like GTA 3. But that is only in there because there are some head honchos still at Rockstar that are so full up their own ass that they have blinders on. They do not realize that an analog stick, we solved this with Mario 64. You want to walk, you push it a little bit. You want to run, you push it all the way. You want to sprint tactically, you press a trigger or you press the stick in. Like, we've learned this already. Some games have a lot of ranges of motion depending on how fast or far you push the stick. Some of them just have walk speed up to this distance on the stick and then it's run after that. Either of those work for GTA. I'm tired of mashing X. Just because they're exerting a lot of energy doesn't mean I have to. So that's my only change. Also, I'm glad this is finally getting announced because I'm tired of seeing everyone's fake, real logos for the 6. I've seen so many lazy Miami colors because the rumor is it takes place in Miami, in Vice City. I would love if it's just a plain 6, personally. And not Roman numerals. I'm done with the Roman numerals. Unless you're Final Fantasy, who's always done it. I'm tired of Roman numerals. Everyone's got to do a V for a 5. I'm tired of it.
It'll just be GTA 6, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll even have a subtitle or anything like that. I think it'll just be straight to the...
It would be crazy if it wasn't called 6 and it was called Grand Theft Auto.
And it just... Because it says the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. So, I mean...
Apparently the rumors are... Well, because this game leaked, remember, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Like footage of it. Early, pre-alpha. And it's like a Bonnie and Clyde type of situation, which might be cool. There is a woman you can play as, and the edgelords are upset because an internal document kind kind of like a character profile. Bits of it leaked and referred to her as the smart one of the group. Like I'm sure that they would have normally, because there's always got to be a brute, and there's always got to be the smooth talker, and there's got to be a smart one, and the girl can't be the brute, so we'll make her the smart one. And people are upset about that because they're weird.
But do we think this trailer is going to be announced did it say at the Game Awards? It just said in December. So do we know if
let's be real. I mean, they are powerful enough to do it whenever, and the world will stop.
If you believe the pettiness that they're like low key maybe mad about the Red Dead not winning, it'd be funny as fuck if they drop it like an hour before
I guess
Game Awards or something. Just like
yeah,
just to be like, you know what I mean? Like they'll just drop it to be like, we'll be all over Twitter. And not
at the Game Awards, but
fan.
during
I'm glad
them.
During the Game Awards. Oh, that's even more petty. I was gonna say do it an hour before. So everyone's talking about that, and
like when Microsoft.
But doing it during would be so good.
The day Microsoft was doing in 2020, early 2020, a kind of a blowout to a degree over Xbox Series X games before the systems came out. That morning, Sony dropped a full expose on the controller, the PS5 controller, and that's upstaged what Microsoft is doing. So you're right there. That could work. However, I'm 90% sure there's been lots of GTA Online ad spots at the Game Awards, so they clearly aren't that upset.
Who cares?
Who
cares?
But they're big enough that they can announce.
I want more
any
drama.
Day of the week, and the world will stop.
I'm on the team at this point of. I missed. The Game Awards had its cringy moments. It had its ups and downs, right? And it's fine now, and it's just a very corporate 2.5 hour long reason to show trailers.
Yeah,
and I get it. Whatever, it's fine. We'll probably cover it like we've done. But I low key would like, outside of a kid going on stage and saying dumb shit, I need drama back. I need some like beef. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking council where I want like companies to be hating, but because I want someone to challenge the integrity of the Game Awards. We need to take it down. I'm on that team at this point. I want it to collapse. I'm Joker in this scenario. I want to see the game world burn.
The Persona 5 character who was at the 2018 Game Awards as a Smash Brothers announcement.
But no, we'll get to the Game Awards as we get closer, because I'm sure they'll announce stuff probably soon. I think
by the time this
episode
episode
the next 2
goes
weeks,
up,
honestly.
Well, episode's going up in a couple days. By the time the next episode goes up, we will definitely probably know, because it would have been a month.
So I was gonna say,
month away.
I do want to, because with all the layoffs that have been happening though in like the gaming industry, I'm very curious to see how much. Because I've already seen some people be like calling Jeff Keighley that he won't do shit. That he doesn't have.
He did his very
the backbone to like
at me guys, like half stance on Activision, and then just we never like referenced.
Yeah,
the fact
I remember that. Like I feel like it was a bunch of
like
nothing.
Activision stuff was in later Jeff Keighley stuff, so clearly doesn't matter. And like, I get it. Like, it's all owned by Microsoft now, but Bobby Kotick's getting $100 million to walk away as his stipend or whatever the term would be. And so like, he just gets to go away scot-free, and like, oh, we all forget about it? No. Does that mean it's Microsoft's
so I kind of want. I hope
like,
as part of the Game Awards downfall that I dream of, that I low key not low key like legitimately do. I do wish someone would like. Someone needs to say something.
It's the 10th anniversary this year. It's the 10th one. Well, the 10th anniversary.
I don't know what I'm looking for exactly. Either I want him to like actually spend like 20 freaking minutes being like, "Hey, there's been a lot of layoffs and blah blah blah. We need to start blah blah," or like I don't know. People need to like protest or something. I want to see something go down. But there
more
won't be
tickets
anything.
sold this year than any other. He announced earlier this week. So, yay.
I hope Elon's there. You know what? I hope Elon shows up.
Fuck.
I want it to be. This is what I need for it to collapse.
Grimes has been there before.
Yeah, why not Elon? There's always one big celebrity who shows up that's unexpected. Why not get the biggest
Michael
loser
Madsen
in LA?
Showed up at the last one to talk about that GTA ripoff, Rockay City, that had like a bunch of actors in it. for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And that game came out earlier this year and then faded away. Speaking about
But yeah,
fading
no,
away,
I'm yeah.
the Epic Game Store was announced, not at the Game Awards, but 5 years ago. Epic Game Store really started its marketing push at the Game Awards, where a lot of games were like ended with Epic Game Store exclusive or whatever, including the original Hades. And it was that night where I'm like, oh, I made an Epic Game Store account and pre-ordered. Bought a Hades early access. I have used it for any other game since, besides I think Fortnite with you once for a joke, and then never again.
I have not opened it probably this year. I'm not gonna lie, but I do have a bunch of free shit on there.
watched
I
a
think
video
I had the
of
Batman
someone-
games on there.
Really, I watched a video of someone launching the same game on both Steam and the Epic Game Store. Steam opens it up from from launch completely, like Steam's not open in like just under 11 seconds, and Epic Game Store takes over a minute, to the point where like the mouse is on like the game icon and they're just clicking play and it's not playing. 5 years into this application software suite store
This
thing,
experiment.
it has not even made as much money that it had hoped, let alone enough to become profitable. And it's a shitty service that doesn't actually work all that well. They just basically assumed if they kept giving away video games for free every week and paying for exclusives, and also, by the way, they're paying to give away those free games. Remember when that leaked a couple years ago, how much they were paying? And they recently, it leaked again how much. Oh, wait, that was Xbox Game Pass. Never mind. But anyway, it did leak years ago. Oh, they paid this much for this, this much for this, this much for this. Yeah, that didn't work. Because guess what? Steam is still better, but even if Epic Game Store was a perfect one-to-one copy, even if it literally was the Steam store and launcher and everything, it just had Epic's logo in it, it's not better. And like, why would we leave for that?
It's hard to get people. It's very hard to get people to join a similar. It's always tough to get people to join another service for these kind of things.
And
I mean, it's like the convenience of it all. Like, oh, I have to add new friends. I have to. Then there's also like Steam has, for folks like you who have trophies and stuff. There's people who have Steam achievements, and I want to see how many hours I have.
Even have that?
I think they have hours on there, but I'm saying is no one wants to jump ship to something else.
Yeah, exactly.
That they're gonna lose their credentials or their whatever you want to look at it. And Steam, has been in the game for a while and has kind of perfected it. I mean, at the time, to a degree, I'm like, I think it's good that Epic Game Stores exist because one, free games, but also
someone should challenge.
I think
Steam.
It's always good. Someone should challenge Steam because then it's they have to do their own sales and have to give away shit too once in a while, and they do. I mean, like I said, I haven't opened it in a year, but I do have, I want to say like 10 or 15 games on there, including the Batman games. I think I played Boyfriend Dungeon. I think I have Hades on there as well.
That's right. You streamed
and I think there was
Hades at once. I watched it, right?
Yeah. And then I have that one truck game where you jump on all the trucks. It's like a puzzle. One of those
Cluster Truck.
Indie puzzle. Cluster Truck. That was fun. Disc Jammers, I think I had it on there as well. So I have spent money on it because they've given me coupons and whatnot. So I have spent money on it. So I'm not against it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably are just like, why go to somewhere else to get the same games? I think the thing is they need exclusives that are,
if they want,
just very big AAA. I mean, like you need like
they need to make them
like the Call of Duty. Like I'd have to be like on it. I think enough to get people to be like, "Fuck, I can only play Call of Duty on Epic." Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, like
even then,
no
I don't
one
even know.
complains about BattleNet because guess what? All of Blizzard's games, like, you need BattleNet because they make the games. They make their games. You know what I mean? Same thing like when Steam first launched back in 2004 when the application was green, as DRM, Digital Rights Management, aka an always online check to make sure you own the game, for Half-Life 2. You needed to launch Steam, like you would put in your disc for Half-Life 2, because again, we're still buying physical, CDs and DVDs for PC games, and it would basically install Steam and launch Steam, and then yes, then you can run your copy of Half-Life 2, and everyone fucking hated it because it was just, we want to make sure no one's stealing the game. And then it became into a store, but because they were a brand that made a few games on PC that people really liked, that there was, and no one else was really doing it, that also helps. They were able to build that. Epic basically stopped making video games except for Fortnite. They kind of stopped. They not only that, but they're scrubbing away their
is big
old
again,
games.
but
and it was around the time Epic Game Store kind of started, was when Fortnite was really blowing up at this point, and the Unreal Engine storefront for buying assets and stuff. We've retroactively changed our cut. We take a lot less money. Everyone's getting a check for the money that we took that we would have been theirs now, and this and that. And the Epic Game Store kept doing things where if you publish with us as an exclusive, you will get 100% of all profits until this very, honestly, it sounded very generous number. And then it's just and then even then the cut is 88/12, which is better than the 70/30 that every other storefront does, including Apple, which Tim Sweeney has made it his personal crusade to make Epic Game Store go to war over Apple and get Fortnite taken off the iPhone, and all that jazz.
So crazy.
Yeah. In any case, it is just insane that they thought they could just buy their way into, Nintendo's. I love Nintendo. PlayStation and Xbox are awesome. I love PlayStation. I would still say that Steam, because of the PC platform being this open thing that is constantly evolving under the same architecture I want to say every single time, because there is no times. It's just always, you know what I mean? It's just constant thing where it's you talked about switching platforms. It would be very hard for me to go to Xbox as my main gaming platform because all my damn purchases are on PlayStation and I like trophies. It would require my account being completely nuked and me physically losing my video games to make me be I guess I can give Xbox a legitimate shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steam, it has an even harder way of losing that because it's all digital. And they're really good at account management and making sure that's all safe. They were doing 2-factor authentication before I feel like fucking anyone else does. I don't know, just all this stuff. And
that was a way to also combat cheating too. Before, any other for Counter-Strike. I remember when they announced that, I was like, oh, this is a great idea because this will combat. People are less likely to cheat if they can't make another Steam account without getting a freaking new phone number. I mean, yeah, you could go to a 7-Eleven, but it's all that kind of shit is not worth it at that point. So I've always liked that. But yeah, they were one of the first to do that. And I don't know if it's because of I think it's a combination of both account security, but also a way to combat cheating in Counter-Strike and also Team Fortress and all that shit that they already had.
Yeah.
So
Steam
for sure
has been the iTunes for video games in the sense that
I was going to say that it reminds me so much of
to buy the game on Steam than it is to pirate a PC game. Just like how iTunes made it so much easier just to buy a song than to steal it off of Kazaa, or all those other services from way back then. And that's what Gabe Newell even was quoted at, you build a better service than piracy and people will do it instead of piracy. And that's true for PC games. I have dipped into my corner in the room here. I found random things in there before. But for PC games, I don't really think it's even necessary just because it's all damn cheap. And there are plenty of games from the early 90s and early 2000s, 2000 itself, that aren't on Steam. SimCity 2000, I was looking because I loved that game. Oh, it's not on Steam. That's weird. The Sims 2 and 1 aren't on Steam. Oh, that's weird. They're also not on the EA Origin store either because I understand they own them. And I was oh man, I guess I'd have to buy a disc or I could find it in my pile because they're not trying to sell it to me. You know what I mean? But
right.
is there anyone besides money reasons who's really gonna steal like a game that's already really cheap on Steam? It's
Probably not.
it's all taken care of. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean that's how the market works for sure. It's definitely if it's a convenience thing. It's same with like Spotify and all that shit too, where it's like I'll just pay the $15 a month or whatever it is for the account to just stream whatever I want. And yeah, theoretically you could go buy the albums, but you know what I mean? It's just that's how it is now. Everything is by convenience. It's a commodity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
and they made
for better
it
or
like
for
this.
worse. That's what it is. So
You're 100% right. And they managed to achieve this. Keep in mind, Steam is still DRM. Yes, you can launch games in offline mode. Not for very long, though. At one point, Steam's like, hey, we want to make sure you own this game. This game needs to, they do that. But, like, that's what a storefront's like. GOG, Good Old Games. Like, guess what? Their whole shtick is DRM-free games. Cool. They exist for that reason, and the people that care about that, and that is something to care about, I would take it as a case-by-case basis. Hey, is this game notoriously run like shit because it has de novo in it, a DRM software that Sega puts in every fucking game ever? They sneak it in there, hoping people don't notice, and the games perform poorly because that software is hogging resources. Get it on GOG if it's on there. Epic Game Store doesn't really have anything that's like, here's what's unique. If there was some weird thing where, like, they managed to, like, instead of exclusives, they did like, oh, we make so many Fortnite skins off characters. You buy the game on Steam. That's the only way you'll get, or on Epic Game Store, it's the only way you'll get that character skin in Fortnite. So if you play Fortnite, guess what? You're buying games on our platform. Honestly,
but even then, I don't know how much that would.
I think it beats.
I mean, I guess
like,
it'd have to be the other way around, where like you buy the skin, you get a game. Where it's like, oh, you buy John Wick, you get the John Wick game.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean. I feel like if you're selling it as the way of buy the game, get the skin, rather than get the skin, but get the game. Buy the skin, get the game.
Fortnite's also dying.
Regardless, I mean,
Basically
Fortnite
had to bring back the original map.
I was gonna say it is popular again now, but it's nostalgic reasons.
They're gonna do that all the time. It's not gonna work out.
Yeah,
but who knows? Anyway, let's move on. Speaking about things that are whoopsies, maybe perhaps not that great of an idea. Remember that Sony PlayStation showcase they did earlier this year, which was mostly live service games. Some of them looked cool. Almost all of them were CGI fests. Not really telling us much about the game. I guess Bungie's Marathon looked interesting to me visually, but they were all kind of whatever. I guess they had 12 of them in total that they are working on, including the Last of Us factions. And half of them basically got really pushed back. We're talking like, I think I said it was like after 2026. So in 3 years, when like we're basically almost at the end of this. Well, I think the PS5 is going to last longer than PS4 did. I don't
freaking
think
better.
It's
too much fucking money.
Yeah. But like basically we're going to look at those games as like, oh, their PS6 versions are going to be cool in a couple of years type of games. I guess
some of these are just going to be canceled. I'm just going to say it too. If you're getting if you're getting pushed back 6 years,
I doubt
half
all
of them
are
half of them
going
are going.
Yeah. And like one of the reasons why they
especially live service games that have been notoriously canceled, even ones that are like already developed and by other AAA
there was an Avengers
companies
game that you can't buy anymore because Square Enix made a bunch of bad calls. But hey, guess what? Sony's first live service games from that showcase comes out in February. Helldivers 2 is $50.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also coming to Steam on day one. Maybe that's the big thing. Make sure these shooters get put on Steam so that you'll get a lot of, because like
and just do crossplay or whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I legitimately thought like, hey, what if I get Helldivers? It might be fun. Maybe that would be fun. As a somewhat budget title, I guess $50 is budget titles now, because it's $20 cheaper than $70.
$50 still feels hefty to this day.
You give it a month and it will be half off. Especially if it's a Ubisoft game, give it 3 months and they'll give it away for free. So some of these companies like do not feel like any of their games hold any value. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about this? This is like,
I mean, it's
no duh.
Not shocking. Also, I don't know. For me, I'm like, Sony we compared Steam to Apple. I'm gonna say Sony is more like Apple in terms of the consoles at this point, where like they should just take their time and make what's something good, because that's what people get PlayStation for at this point. They get it for, and mostly single player shit too. So to a degree, I'm like, for this kind of stuff, or just don't rush it, because like you still are gonna have your Last of Us, your God of Wars, and
like those games sell well. We're gonna see some figures coming up ahead. Nintendo games still sell better than any first-party Sony game has ever made, and for any first-party Xbox game that's ever made that they haven't purchased from someone else, like Minecraft. You know what I mean? And obviously, Call of Duty. They sell really well, but like they are. I mean, they're good games. That's besides the point. But like they're prestigious in a way that's more of like, hey, this is why you should buy a PlayStation. That's what they ultimately serve as a thing. Hey, you're going to buy a PlayStation because of these games. You might not buy these games, but you're going to see like your friend be like, oh my God, Spider-Man 2. And like,
Death Stranding. Oh my God.
Yes.
Right.
Where's Death Stranding 2, Kojima? It took you 4 years to make that one. It's been 4 years since that one.
Has it really been 4 years?
Yeah, 2019, buddy. Because remember, it came out right before the pandemic. If they waited a year and released it, it would have been
like
the
a pandemic
greatest game of all time to people. They would have been like, "Oh my God, it's just what's happening now."
It would have been Sony's Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. Moving on. Hey, let's talk about Spider-Man. Guess what? It sold 5 million copies within 11 days, and the PlayStation 5 itself has.
Do they count pre-orders in that?
Millions. If it's a fully purchased
Do they
game,
count?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it says within 11 days. So like, how many of those are pre-orders?
Well, they would all count as day one. Here's the thing about pre-orders. Because money is involved. Like, there's... It's weird. This happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake when that launched in 2020. They delayed that game by a month. Out of March and into April. The Square Enix fiscal years ends in March. So that update that they needed, the extra month of development, was so important that they basically wiped it out of one of their fiscal years. All of the pre-orders basically are subtracted from the money that they were making that fiscal year and putting into 2024. So yeah, it is weird that like that money is already counted, but the sales haven't happened yet. 5 million copies in 11 days. It is the fastest selling PlayStation first-party video game, but that metric
I feel like every time
though
I think it went from
God of
Spider-Man,
happened,
then God of War,
they said
then it was
weeks.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
They changed the range of time, so
on that too, yeah.
But I think that didn't they say before they said like on 2 days or something like that. That was the shortest time that they've said, so it's probably the most correct. PlayStation 5 itself has sold over 46 million units, which is quite frankly a lot, which is insane.
That's still not enough votes to win products. Sorry.
In the console war, there is no true
console. I don't know. That's not enough to clinch the electoral college. You're probably gonna need another 30 mil. Yeah. Based off exit polls here.
We'll talk about other console sales in a little bit, but yeah, I think that's impressive for Spider-Man. But like, I want to know how much Starfield has sold, because I don't know if it was on this podcast or if it was just you privately. I'm like, Spider-Man will outsell Starfield like crazy because it's just Spider-Man. It's nothing even to do with Sony. It's just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Spider-Man has that clout.
This way. And guess what? The game is really good, which means the next one they make will also sell really well. Unlike maybe Call of Duty, because this one that came out was supposed to be DLC. Not that that's ever been public, but it was supposed to be an expansion for last year's. It had a little over 1 year of development, and it came out as a 3-hour campaign, and all the maps are the same from the old ones. And it's $70. And this one will sell really well, but the next Call of Duty might not, because people are going to be like, hold on a second. I heard the last one was bad. And
but there is the people who buy every single one. There is the people who still buy every single one, and the latest Madden and the NBA 2K, which is fine, but it's just funny. It's like, how long can they get away with it? Like, I want to know, like, what's the lowest they can do? Like, at what point would that break even the I'm going to buy a COD every year, folks? You know what I mean?
don't know.
I want to know what that limit is of, like, you know what I mean? Like, we just updated the maps. Nothing else changed in the game. I wonder, like, if that would be it. Like, I want to know.
But is that any different
would
than
break
like
people.
NBA 2K?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's just the roster's updated, and maybe there's some changes in, like, some of the face scans, or maybe, like,
The
Steph
physics,
Curry's
they'll always say something about
Steph
the
Curry's
physics.
3-point shot is
Yeah.
a little bit different or something like that, but not noticeable enough that, you know.
I have just too far away for me to grab. Another room. PlayStation 3 launch game, NBA Live 07. Full title on the game cover says NBA Live 07, full HD 1080p, and it has I think
Hell
Jordan's
yeah.
on it, and he has this face of like, cause he's in mid basketball, action scene. He has this face of like, really? It's in HD. Hilarious. Yeah, they always, whatever. We'll see Call of Duty. I just had a flashback. Again, GTA 5 launched 10 years ago. Guess what Call of Duty game was 10 years ago? Ghosts. Now, GTA 5
Shout out to Ghosts.
launched before Ghosts. GTA 5, incredible sales. It basically was the best-selling game of that year right away. And it outsold GTA prior to that. And it was the big, like, local news talk about the Grand Theft Auto 5 game. Watching local news. Maybe this was on Twitter too, a local news, but I definitely saw this on my local news. When Call of Duty came out that year, Activision finagled how they worded their sales and didn't say sold, they said shipped. Because GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart has to order these copies, and they get shipped.
Right.
They are not sold through. So here's the thing, folks. If you're looking at sales data, or a company puts out a press release and says, oh, we've shipped this many copies physically and sold digitally, this total many of copies of this game, that might not actually be copies that were sold. But if they say sell through, then you know for a fact that they've actually been purchased by capital G gamers, or maybe even lowercase g gamer girlfriends,
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
Gamers.
I went there.
We lowercase
Yeah.
shit.
Yep, I went there. There are more female gamers than male
I want
gamers.
to. By the way, I want to
to
know how much of the PlayStation 5 console 46.6. How many of those are owned? Like how many? Like what percentage is that just sitting in someone's house trying to sell on eBay for $700?
Still, I don't think so, because you can go and you can buy them in stores. It's been like this, I think, at least all of this year.
But I mean, like just in.
Because they've already bought a bunch and now they're stuck with them.
Yeah, like I just want to know like what percentage
No,
just has.
I don't know.
At least you're set for
Bite the
Christmas. You can
bullet.
start just giving them
yeah,
away.
do that then. I was gonna say, or bite the bullet.
Become
and-
Santa.
Actually,
Yeah.
if you have a launch day PS3 in a box still like that, and you haven't like ever taken it out of the box, sell it to me so I can get it to a certain firmware and do the hacks Illusion's doing on Twitter to make certain PS4 games run at 120 frames per second. This person's out there patching old PS4 games to have, when they run on PS5, they're at least 60, if not 120 frames per second, including Bloodborne. So don't need to buy a Bloodborne remaster.
Even Bloodborne.
Yeah, and Gravity Rush 2 is another one.
But
Super cool. Anyway,
I'm gonna say if I had to guess, I'm gonna be like 5%.
that are sitting in people's. I'm gonna say
Either that or
0.5%.
were purchased
the
purchased
same
through
thing to me.
somebody who did own them.
I can see maybe something like that. Hey, I say almost, this was never going to happen. Amazon had a pricing error for a refurbished Nintendo Switch OLED model, the one that was the Mario theme that came out.
For like $1 or whatever.
No, not $1. 1/100th of that. It was a penny. And I was able to order it, and they canceled that, obviously, but like there are people that replied to Wario64 when he posted that, said, I just ordered 80 of them because it was 80 cents. And I'm like, shit, I should have done that. I was just thinking about owning one because I don't own an OLED model and I don't really want to buy one. So it'd be cool to have one. That can be my new Switch. I can, replace the other one with it. I didn't think about flipping them because, yeah, they're $350 MSRP. Granted, these are refurbished. You sell them for $200 on eBay. That's a lot of money you're making.
Now you're shipping Switches. See,
And like, hey, guess what? I'm selling them for cheaper than you could get them just because I didn't pay that much for them. You know what I mean? I feel like that's not scalping. That's not scalping. Not that I could do it anyway. Let's move on to Mario. Hey, guess what? Mario
I've heard of
Wonder
him.
sold 4.3 million units. They also go on to state that out of all the Mario games from the DS and Wii onward, this is the fastest selling Super Mario Brothers game. It is already sold more than twice what a lot of other big Nintendo Switch games have had in their lifetime so far, which is interesting, including Pikmin. Yeah, it is a game that I don't own, but it looks really fun. I've seen a lot of memes of people taking the talking flowers and making them say shit. Like, that girl got a big booty, that type of stuff. Or
Oh my
I texted
God.
you one where someone superimposed Sephiroth walking behind Luigi, and the flower just screams Sephiroth like a child that's really excited, like my inner child. Yeah, it's big, and you know what? Guess what?
There's Elephant Mario, Republican Mario.
Well, there's also Elephant Peach for
Republican Peach.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what else.
I mean, the game's a clear endorsement of
Yeah.
a certain ideology.
I mean, look at the cover art, folks. Mario's heading to the right side.
but is that a bisexual color scheme there under Wonder?
Pretty close to it.
Oh, so maybe it's wonder. Maybe the game's about wondering about your sexuality, perhaps, which is based. Good for them.
It's one giant acid trip of a video game, and they're not even disguising
It does look pretty
that.
crazy.
Yeah, I want to get it. Also, the
Pro
multiplayer.
drug Mario.
They changed the multiplayer in two ways. Number one, it's a strand game. You can help each other out even though you're not directly involved, kind of like Dark Souls as well. And yeah, if you're playing local multiplayer, you don't bump into each other like the Wii and Wii U games. So you actually just walk in front of each other.
So you can't bully though.
Which was always the annoying part. Even accidentally bumping into each other. No, I fell in a pit because my cousin jumped. He was playing the game too, and now I'm dead.
My cousin Jimmy, yeah, he just bumped me out.
Exactly. Speaking of sales, Nintendo Switch has surpassed 130 million units sold. Let me go ahead and hide these Twitter logos on screen here. Yes, I'm in denial. That's a lot. It's now the second best-selling console of all time. PlayStation 2 is at 150. I honestly think the Switch could outsell it, especially if we have another full year before a Switch 2 or whatever they call it, Super Nintendo Switch. It'll get closer to that. It's insane. I just love, though, I have this graphic up, folks. We're kind of covering the Wii and DS. DS says 154. Console and handheld sometimes go separately. So I guess it's not second if you can count the handheld, because I think the Game Boy also passed 100, but like...
It's the same. It's the same.
Wii was 100 it passed, but I love that they insist on putting the Wii U in here at 13. They're being honest.
That's
At
brutal.
least. I own one. And they're actually not... Like, those gamepads, they're not cheap on eBay. Because they didn't sell them
Honestly,
like they sold controllers.
Going back to the bit before, Switch, I would say, has probably gotten close to clinching the Electoral College with that much units sold here in the United States.
Yeah.
That's 1/3 of like American population, and usually only about maybe 2/3 at best show up to vote. So Switch looking good, man.
Yeah.
Switch is going to clinch that. Switch is the next president, folks.
I think what's more interesting, too, is that the software sold is exponentially higher than the relation between hardware and software on the other consoles. But
people are just buying a lot of digital.
Yeah, there's a lot of cheap indie
shit.
games on the Switch, which was not the case on Wii U and 3DS to nearly the extent that there is now. And Wii and DS, that was laughable with that stuff. I mean, honestly, if we were to take software sales for Wii, there's 921 million software sold. I would say generously, 5% of that is Mario Kart Wii. Another 5% of that is Super Mario Brothers, new Super Mario Brothers Wii. Another 10% of that is Wii Sports, because guess what? They stopped bundling that game in to bundle Mario Kart. So then they sold, Nintendo's, or they sold Wii Sports in addition. Like,
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, we're gonna see in another slide. The best-selling Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles are all Nintendo games. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, but the Nintendo Switch is also selling decently well softwares. The games are selling decently well for third parties, but primarily indie games. I remember, what was it? Super Meat Boy came to Switch pretty
Oh
early,
man,
and
haven't heard that game in a minute.
yeah, that's a popular. You remember that game? That was a popular indie game. It sold really well. That year, the guy said it sold more that year on Switch than all other platforms combined, in life. So like
That's
it does
crazy.
like Stardew Valley is one of those third party Switch games that sold millions because it's Stardew Valley. You know what I mean? People like to play the games on Switch. So that's those things. This is from Nintendo's fiscal year. The top 5 Nintendo Switch selling games are still Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 57 million copies sold. Animal Crossing New Horizons at 43. By the way, that game is the best-selling game of all time in Japan. Second is Pokemon Red and Blue in Japan of all time, which is interesting.
Huh.
Yeah,
We'll
right?
never guess that one.
Or red and green. Sorry, not red and blue. Blue came later in Japan. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is at 32 and a half, just about. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is at 31, and Super Mario Odyssey is at 26. Those are the top. And just under that is Pokemon Sword and Shield, and just under that is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I'm sure just under that is a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I'm sure just under that is Pokemon blah, 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 blah. Nintendo is killing it. Super Mario Odyssey has sold more copies than any PlayStation first-party game ever, and any Microsoft Xbox first-party game that they did not buy from someone else ever. So then, yeah, when you look at like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's like, yeah, that is one of the best-selling games of all time. It's not close to Grand Theft Auto 5 or Minecraft, but it is
But still,
way
like,
up there.
the average person might have it in their household.
And that wasn't even
Good
a new
chance.
Mario Kart at the time of release. It was a deluxe version of a Mario Kart that was only 3 years old on Wii U. Granted, 13 million Wii U's, half of them owned Mario Kart 8. The sales on Mario Kart 8 is about over 50% of Wii U sales. I am not one of those people. I never owned it, so it was new to me.
It's
Also,
probably my most played Switch game at this
yeah,
point.
it's not mine, but
It's got. I think it's
up
probably
there.
either that or Odyssey, but I think I've played it enough on flights that
Yeah.
the time has to be more.
And then just some
For sure.
recent Tears of the Kingdom, Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, 19.5 million units that came out earlier this year. That number still more than any Sony first-party game or any Xbox first-party game that they did not buy from someone
Crazy.
else. And that game
It helps,
not a
like I
year
said,
old.
it helps with like the everyone having the hardware too.
Yeah.
for it.
Well, yes, exactly. And Pikmin 4, 2.6 million units sold. And that, I used to consider that, and so did realistic Nintendo fans, a fringe Nintendo franchise. It's like, yeah, they're cool. They exist way over here in terms of popularity. It's not nearly as close to Mario or Animal Crossing, but it's starting to become really relevant. But here's the thing. A lot of these... Nintendo's really good at making one game in a franchise per system, just about. There's one Mario Kart. There's one Smash Brothers. You know what I mean? There's one Animal Crossing. There's one this, one that. So they don't compete with each other, because why would they have their own games compete with each other? Every one of those types of games has sold more on Switch than they ever did, especially the quote-unquote fringe ones. So to see Pikmin 4 doing this is no surprise because it follows the trend. But like, I heard Pikmin 4 was really good. It runs on Unreal Engine 4. Which is weird. It doesn't run on
What?
Nintendo's own. And the easy way to tell is that Nintendo, like, never uses any anti-aliasing. They use those raw shimmery pixels. Pikmin 4, because Unreal Engine 4 has very easy anti-AA on there, it has anti-aliasing. It's like, oh, this is an easy way to tell. But I think the development team also had said it was on Unreal. Yeah, there's that, and there was a Yoshi game early in the Switch's life cycle that was on Unreal Engine 4 as well. Yeah, so that's cool. And speaking about like the best selling Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles being from Nintendo, bottom left corner of the scan, everyone folks from their fiscal year, there are 16 titles that have sold over 1 million units on Nintendo Switch. 12 of them are by Nintendo. I'm sure Stardew Valley is one of
Hmm.
those as well, unless they're not counting digital titles. Like if they have to be physical as well, I don't know, but I doubt that because if it's all money, why not count it? It makes you look good regardless. The Switch itself isn't selling as many units physically anymore. It is going down, but that's just because
Yeah,
there's
I
a
mean,
lot of
like
people
it
that
is
own
a
them already.
yeah, but and also like I got Sonic Superstars on Switch, and I thought about getting it physical, but I'm like at that point might as well just get it for the thing it makes more sense for is the console. For me, I'm like I don't know why I would get a Switch physical anything anymore because like the ability to like just quickly switch to a game
Yeah.
right then and there is so much simpler
It's
than
different than a PlayStation where like it's not leaving your
I'm
house.
in the comfort of my own home. I can go to the I don't have to worry about storage because the other thing is like yeah, I have a case I can put the games in, but
Yeah.
like even on like
I was always
when
afraid
I'm
of
on a
losing that.
plane, yeah, when I'm on a plane or like traveling, I'm always like, well,
Where is it in my
I
bag?
don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like or like I'm switching the game. Like I try not to touch too much shit either. So that's just like the convenience. Once again, even just talking about that, the convenience of digital is I think the biggest thing,
Yeah.
especially for something like the Switch, where it's like all the games are there. I don't have to even worry
Yeah.
about bringing the
And
cases or
micro
bringing
SD
the little
cards are
things and
so
losing
much
them.
cheaper now, so you're not really because when the Switch first came out, they weren't as cheap as they are now. I spent a not an insignificant amount of money on a 128 gigabyte micro SD card for my Switch at that time, and now I could spend the same amount of money for like a terabyte one. You know,
Right.
it's the same thing with those M2 SSDs. I finally put one in my PS5 because I got it for less than $100 and it's 2 terabytes, and that's insane to me that it got that cheap that quick. But yeah, but I mean also like the actual Switch itself, those hardware, the console itself, are selling less because everyone basically has one, and you know, okay, there's rumors of a Switch 2 and that type of stuff. Apparently, a lot of recent Nintendo Switch titles have UI buttons in them for the four face buttons, the A, B, X, Y, colored like the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, but in Japan it had a different color scheme. Or in America, that controller was like purple and gray. In Japan, those four face buttons were red, green, blue, and yellow. Maybe not in that order clockwise. This UI element is depending in a lot of Switch games recently that in the back end that has those color schemes. Third party games as well. I think it would be foolish to assume that the next Switch unit won't be backwards compatible. And I think it's extremely likely that a lot of the games that are coming out now are coming out with this understanding of, hey, we might be able to put out a patch to make it run better on the next console, which helps sell more copies because of that. Oh, this game looks even better on this new console. I wasn't going to get it because it looked bad. Now I can, and that type of
Right.
stuff. So, like I said it before on this very same program you're watching, I did not buy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because it ran like dog shit and it looked ugly. And I lost all my 3DS Pokemon when my 3DS got formatted and I lost my Pokemon Bank. But I will get it if it
Rest in
runs
peace.
better on the Switch Super Switch. You know what I mean? I will get it if
Super
it does
Switch.
that.
I still like it.
That's what they're
I
gonna
still
call it.
like
I
it calling
guarantee it.
it.
Super Nintendo Switch is what they're gonna call it. You're hearing it
Yeah, I
first.
remember us doing the episode. I was like, this makes the most sense just to call it that, and then it'll be a nod to the Super or SNES. You know what I mean? It should be our generation's
People,
SNES or
myself included, back in
people
that
our age,
episode.
younger.
In that episode, I said no to that idea. I changed my mind now. But Nintendo fans,
We've convinced them,
and we
folks.
have.
We've convinced them.
I did everything they wanted. They convinced
Right.
me. Nintendo. You can never predict Nintendo. They're always going to do something weird and unique, and the name Wii is weird. The name Switch is weird. We get used to them real quick. They're going to call it whatever they want to call it, but like you know what, Super Nintendo Switch, if it really is just an evolution of the concept on a much more powerful machine, the actual Tegra X39, I forget what the chip is called, that the Switch 2 Super Switch is reportedly going to use from NVIDIA, which is an automotive chip. It's meant for like car computers. This is a slightly pared down version of that to make it fit within Switch hardware, like the form factor and battery life and all that stuff. Apparently decently powerful. Certainly not 4K capable, but it will use DLSS to get itself up there, is what the big reports are. So when that report from Gamescom of Breath of the Wild running at 4K on this, dev kit hardware Nintendo was showing off, not native, certainly 1080p, but like it was, being boosted up there at a higher frame rate. And the same thing with that Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 demo, which is not even capable of running on a PlayStation 4 Pro, let alone a Nintendo Switch, is apparently a versions of that was being shown off as well back in Gamescom. So people have done teardowns on what that chip is capable of. I know Digital Foundry did that. A big teardown. Hey, if this chip really is in the Nintendo Switch and is powering it, this is what we're kind of looking at and expecting from PC games. You know what I mean? And Switch will be even better than this because it's all one hardware and you can develop for that one thing, as opposed to a PC game, having to have the option to being scaled to that, etc. So I'm excited for that. There was a patent of, imagine if the Switch was a DS and there were two screens, but both things could detach, was a patent. I highly doubt that that's ever going to be a thing, because that sounds expensive as hell to have two high definition screens that wirelessly
and also
communicate
just
with
like
each other.
And just bulky.
Yeah.
And
like
I don't know if that's a little too much on the mobile at that point.
Yep.
I don't know. Like it just doesn't feel productive in a way for like the consumer to be like, okay, so I have this, like, more storage space. The whole point I think what like about the Switch is it's portable. Like if you have too many screens at that point,
and it's simple.
Just make a console. A console.
It's just, and that's the thing. Like the gimmick of the Switch was you're just playing normal ass games just on the go. It's uncompromised. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the system runs at a lower clock speed when it's not plugged into AC power, which does affect resolutions, and it does, well, technically doesn't because it's a 720p screen, but it affects frame rates and it affects some texture qualities in some games. They know if it's plugged in or not. The Switch knows. But that's not something normal people ever notice in video games. So, like, it's uncompromised in the general public's view. On the go or at home, it's just a console I can take with me. So, we'll see if the Super Switch just is that again, or if it has to feel like it needs some sort of gimmick in order to differentiate itself.
Yeah, it's either going to be called the Super Switch, I stand by that, or it's going to be something that we couldn't predict. It's going to be something completely
the Nintendo
different.
penis.
To that point.
Nintendo
Dildo. 17 different vibrations, folks, depending on how you're playing Mario Kart.
The HD rumble. Yeah.
It rumbles based off what terrain you're in.
Oh, God.
There you go.
I mean, there's some breaking news, though. Unfortunately, we have to kind of cut away from video game stuff. Apparently, there's a new Shrek movie that is apparently coming out in 2 years' time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Apparently, some NBC employee accidentally had that on their LinkedIn that they worked on it, which happens in video games. I guess that's their connection.
I want to know who. Now that I like think about this, on her LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, folks, for the people who use it, and if it's a profile, usually you have to connect with that person to see their stuff. Unless they have like more of a public profile, you can like lick your job description on there. But then who's searching? Like, I want to know how they just found that. Like, whoever, like, someone enough found that went up the grapevine enough to get to Twitter and reporting. And obviously she changed it, but she probably just didn't. The person probably didn't understand the like, hey, we're not supposed to announce it yet. They probably just put it on there like, yeah, I'm working on this. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that happens with.
But I want to
video
know how.
games
I have more
often.
questions of like who discovered it, like who is looking up Shrek on LinkedIn enough.
Well, my point is, I think
find-
this happens enough on LinkedIn that like people are just on there looking at these
I
people.
guess,
Maybe
yeah,
it wasn't
must
maybe
be.
it wasn't the day it got popped in there that it was discovered, but it could have been close after that. But yeah, it happens in video games often enough where it's like, oh yeah, this person that worked at this company that hasn't made a game in a decade announced that they worked on this franchise type stuff at that company. You know what I mean, like that type of stuff. So.
I love the comment section, by the way.
Yeah, I just had
of
Snoop
this.
Dogg.
Or I love the Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
back.
As long as there is
So-
delusion, there is hope. Wow, no, it's okay. Well, I don't want to go down too far. This is the blue check section after all.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Question.
hey, we are Shrek fans. I'm hyped. That's all I gotta say.
Shrek is
What is your question?
22 years old. That game, or I almost said game, that movie. Is
And how
22
old was
years
he in
old.
Shrek 1?
I don't think that matters because my question for you is: this a true sequel, as in a Shrek 5 takes place after Shrek 4, or is this a Shrek movie that is kind of like, hey, those other things, maybe they exist, maybe they don't. We're not going to acknowledge.
Kind of like
either
a
way.
soft reboot,
like,
kind
hey,
of.
hey, like what's a good example off the top of my head? Oh man, like a lot of video games do this.
I Am Groot.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
Groot
yes,
TV show.
but like they're 2-minute things that doesn't count.
But they happen.
Sure. Is it going to be like Sonic the Hedgehog, for instance, where it's like, I guess all those games took place at some point in his life, but it's not actually acknowledged that they happened. Is this Shrek 5 going to be
it
like
says
that? Where it's
Shrek
just-
5.
It's Shrek doing... Yeah, but they're just saying Shrek 5 because they're saying Shrek 5 because that means something. You know what I mean?
Or they just call it. Well, they won't call it Shrek because the first one's called Shrek. I think it'll just be a continuation. I think this is a response from how good Puss in Boots did. The newer one that came out, I think, last year around this time,
Puss
maybe
in Boots,
early
Make a
January
Wish or whatever.
Yeah, like that one did, I think, decently well. It had good reviews. So people were like, "Hey, Shrek back, Shrek back."
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
they were like, "Hey, we gotta get this
Do you
going."
think-
Like
do
we
you
thought
think the
about
cast
it,
is gonna
you know.
come back? You think?
I mean, you gotta.
Myers,
You can't
Big
call it
Murphy,
Shrek 5 and you can't
Cameron
get the
Diaz.
OGs in there.
Is it
Come
going to be
on.
like Mario where they have a sound alike play donkey instead? And in the
No.
morning I'm making pancakes. Like, no, that's not the donkey
Ugh.
I know. It's not the donkey
It's
I
not
know.
not my donkey.
Yeah.
No, I think it's got to be the original. I mean, come on now. You can't disgrace the Shrek property like that by giving in some recasts. Come on now.
I guess not.
No one can be Shrek. No one else can be Shrek. In my
Well,
book. So
Shrek almost used to be someone else, and then he died. His name was Chris Farley, but yeah. So no, I'm with you.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up the episode. We've gone over the 2-hour mark in this recording.
Wow,
We'll be edited
this is
down
a
a
long.
little bit,
this is
but-
the longest I think we've ever done for
For news,
a
there was a
news
lot of
episode.
news. I was like gathering these tweets.
We're catching
as
up.
they
We're
were
catching up,
happening,
and
I'm like, shit. There's more. There's more.
I think we're gonna have to. Maybe we just wait for more news. We don't even stop recording. We just
Yeah,
turn
let's
this into CNN and just
exactly,
constantly
exactly.
constantly have a live feed and just someone's talking,
Yep,
even
and,
if it's
you
just
know,
the same shit.
If there's
yeah.
nothing to say, we're gonna make sure we have some reporter somewhere condescendingly
Give an
ask
opinion.
random people if they condemn Hamas. So this was a fun episode
Yeah.
of the Sonic Movie Show. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at Sonic Movie Show. I'm on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Devin's on Twitter at CursonaFun. Let us know what you think about
And on Blue
Shrek
Sky.
5. Yes.
And I'm Blue Sky.
We're also
Devin's on Blue Sky.
I'm on Blue Sky. I have not posted. I have not skeeted.
I'm posting on there. I'm trying to like make it. I'm trying to change the one addiction to the other one. It's like going to a new drug, but it's the same effects.
I gotta
So,
redo my branding for my streams and stuff, like my graphics and all that, because that's what I wanted Blue Sky to be. For
what
me.
I like about Blue Sky, actually, there was someone made a list of like there's lists on there since it's open source. People can make lists on there of users and whatever, so you can like, oh, I'm gonna follow everyone on this list, so you don't have to do that. But there's ones where you can block people. So someone has made a list of like all these people who are like hateful bigots. Like just do this, and you just boop blocks. I just blocked like 300 people instantly, and it's just like. And then people add to the list, being like, "Hey, this person's
so it auto blocks.
this person's calling for more war crimes and genocide." Okay, cool, easy block. So
nice.
So I'm like, hell yeah.
I've
So
not
I like
posted.
that's what I like about Blue Sky. So far is
Yeah,
the kind
I
of
gotta get
open
back
source community based.
I gotta get back into it.
But I still get the random. My feed is randomly will just have like a bunch of people just in German for whatever reason. So confused by that because I don't follow anyone who speaks German
or whatever.
No, I don't know.
No.
But
what I don't like is that like replies to people pop up on the main feed for me sometimes.
Well, there's a list you can follow that does posts only.
Oh, there
that
we go.
I have.
There we go.
So it's just posts only. No
I'm
retweets
on Blue
either.
Sky.
So
I
it's
have
just
not skeeted on there. I'm on there at absolutely Ethan, the opposite, because God, where's my fucking fingers? Absolutely Ethan. Because Ethan absolutely is not what I wanted to be on Twitter. I wanted to be the opposite. And I was able to grab that on there. I'm also on Hive. I've not used it since
what happened
I
to
popped
that?
on. Every now and then I'll get a push notification from them being like, huh, we're not as stupid as Elon Musk. It's like, okay, that doesn't make you special
Really?
because everyone else is also smarter than Elon Musk. Fuck Elon Musk, but not fuck you because you're watching the Sonic Movie Show here on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, guys, we're also on podcast services everywhere. Go down in this YouTube
Around the
comments,
globe.
around the universe. We're on that gold disc that was shot into space. Let us know down below in the comments if Shrek 5 will fuck. Goodbye. See ya.
Au revoir.